Afternoon. Welcome back. I hope everybody had a good lunch. I did because I got up this morning and I thawed some wings and stuck them in the air fryer when we went on lunch. So I didn't get to finish them, but they right here. And I got some of my favorite sauce right now is the Kinder's Honey Hot Barbecue. Oh my God. Ooh wee. Right. So we're coming back to the direct of Dr. Jennifer Tufts. Lindsay's initial psychiatrist. Hello, hello. Reddington is on ready. On ready. What is this? I gotta go back. Senator Booker was talking. What is he talking about now? I got to find me another it's time for me to get a new chair. I got to. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna look. Look. Ooh, don't play. Don't play that trial. Listen, and that trial might that's going to spawn some mess because first of all, Mel might be back in action. Mel has finished the documentary I sent her. Mel has gone through that witness list. Did y'all see they added 70 more people to that witness list? So that 194 that they had plus 70. Okay. Yalla. I don't know what he gonna do. I mean, I guess now he know for sure the Trap Boy Freddy is on there. And see, I see another content creator that I usually don't watch much of, but I received a bunch of clips of an interview that was done on I can't remember what his podcast is called. There it was Setting Nash, but he was on I can't think of the name of the podcast. Damn. But it's Big Bank. Y'all know who Big Bank is in Atlanta. It was Big Bank's podcast. And in that particular it's Trap Lord Summer Monroe is Trap Lord Ross. He has one called Unaliving on a Dallas Expressway or something like that, but it's the Mo 3 Yellow Beezy whole back and forth. And it tells the whole thing. Big Bank has a podcast, and Big Bank had Setting Nash on that podcast, and I was receiving clips of it. I haven't watched the whole thing, but some of the clips that I received was how Setting Nash was kind of correlating the fact that Trap Boy Freddy had proposed to a woman, ring, everything. He was online, you know what I mean? Like he's on the phone, on FaceTime, on a visit or what have you, but she's out to eat. She's dressed to the nines. She's looking beautiful. A ring is placed on her finger. He sets up this lavish from jail proposal, and Setting Nash posed the question, why would you go and propose to somebody in that fashion if you didn't plan to live that life? Indicating Seti has a lot of information in there. Apparently in that interview, he talked about it. Okay. But as Seti was saying, how would you plan a lavish proposal like that if you didn't plan, if you wasn't coming home, if you didn't think you was coming home at this point, right? Yellow Beezy's trial starts on the 20. I'm looking. Is it the 26th, 24th? The last Monday of this month. I think it's the 24th. He definitely does his damn research. And one of the clips that I received is that he will get the paperwork because he's always got everybody's paperwork. And one of the clips said he was like, he'll pay somebody to get the paperwork so his name is not on it. I love it. But he kind of implied from there that Trap Boy Freddy must be planning on coming home at some point. And how else would he come home unless he was cooperating, unless there was some sort of agreement? Like, how would he be planning to live out what he just put into the atmosphere? And this was live, this was recorded, this was posted on social media. I believe it's October. That's what's that? Cincinnati, Cleveland. What was that? The daddy that went back and did, you know what I'm saying? The daddy. Yes, I'm going to be doing Yellow Beezy, and hopefully Yellow Beezy will bring mail back out. Yes, Sonia. I believe that's October as we know it. That's going to be a crazy case. That's going to be a crazy case. Not only that, so there was a lot of speculation that maybe said he didn't know what he was talking about, because what proof do you have that Trap Boy Freddy was cooperating? But we know in one of the last two motion hearings that Yellow Beezy's attorney said, you need to give up what you got. Ain't no more hiding it. If you have an agreement with somebody, if somebody's being an informant, all agreements, all meetings, all talks, all of whatever you got going on behind the scenes, we need to be able to prepare for. So yeah, ain't gonna be no trial by ambush, ain't gonna be no surprises. Drop that shit. So they put in a motion to get all of the any type of agreement with any type of informant, any type of agreement made with the state to testify against or give information on this situation with Yellow Beezy. Now, they didn't produce those documents, but what they did do was drop the witness list, the initial witness list with 194 people on it, and that initial witness list, or 196, but damn near 200 people, and Trap Boy Freddy was for damn show on that list. Now, fast forward a week after that, they dropped another list Monday, and it had 70 more people on there. So if Yellow Beezy don't know nothing else, he know for sure now that the prosecution is plans to call, or they on their witness list is Trap Boy Freddy. Now, does that mean he has an agreement? It does, or it doesn't. Trap Boy, I mean, he would be called as a witness anyway. But I mean, he could plead the fifth. I don't know. You would expect him to be called, but the fact that it was hush hush that he was called, and then a lot of people speculated that he would be an informant, or he made some sort of a deal, because his name was left out of a lot of charges. All right, back in this stuff.
So for the purpose of the record, we return back to the matter of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present, including the defendant, excluding the jury.
All right, counsel, we ready for the jury?
Can we be seen briefly at sidebar?
Sure.
Yeah, so, and then in that other motion, what was it? The other thing, and I've been talking to Stara about this because of course she's in Texas, and then I've been sending messages to Kayla, because you know Kayla is now barred in Texas too, double barred. And so I've been asking, Texas has some really strict laws on using folk music against them. Remember in Fulton County, it felt like a free-for-all, but In Texas, they don't play that shit. So when I looked, I think I put a video up about it, but there's only one full song of Mo 3s that they got in, one full song of Yellow Beezies, and then like maybe pieces of another song, and then some interviews. They do not play that bullshit about any of the songs that had any of the songs that seemingly celebrated unaliving, seemingly encouraged unaliving, even the live. We've all seen the live, and if you haven't seen the live, why it look like it's stuck? Hold on.
Look, we have the witness on the stand.
Hold on, guys. Okay, there we go. But even the live that Yellow Beezy did while Mo 3 was still laid out on that freeway cannot come in. It cannot come in. So it's not like Fulton County where they played every song. We pretty much had a concert. You know, it's like just pass Thug the mic. We can do lifestyle right here. Hell, if they would have gave us that concert, that might have been the last time we'd have been able to see Rich Homie Quan perform. They gypped us.
All right, we all set?
All right, Miss Tufts, we back. And Miss Tufts might be tough.
All right, George Andrew.
He was just like, what? You heard? Like, he was like, I think he gave his location and they was like not too far from where it happened. And he was just saying a bunch of stuff that made it seem like, R.I.P. that man. What happened? Yeah, it was bad.
Your Honor, for the purpose of the record, we
Bad,
return back
bad.
to the trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present.
Okay, I'm gonna
including
finish
the
my food,
defendant
guys.
and including the 18 jurors.
All right. Attorney Sprague?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, let me turn this up. Come on.
So, Dr. Tufts, back on that first appointment with Ms. Clancy on September 15th, 2022, as part of the record, did you detail a section, history of present illness?
Yes.
And in that section, you put in here initial presentation, nursing school, Prozac helped, got treatment after second baby, 2 for anxiety, Zoloft 1 week, was nervous about breastfeeding, initial side effects. Can you just tell us where that information came from?
My conversation with the patient.
Okay. And where it says Zoloft 1 week, was nervous about breastfeeding, what does that mean?
So she had tried Zoloft before during the postpartum period after her second baby.
And did she tell you whether she had any side effects when she took Zoloft after her second baby?
She mentioned something about initial side effects, which are pretty common for many people. I didn't detail what those side effects were, but they sounded like the very normal ones that people might experience that are transient in the beginning of the treatment.
And what would those side effects be?
Possibly upset stomach, appetite issues.
Can we know what related to this patient rather than somebody?
All right, so why don't you ask if she remembers what the defendant said the side effects were?
Do you remember what the defendant said the side effects were?
I don't remember them exactly, but they were ones that did not seem concerning.
And in your experience, in your training and experience as a psychiatrist who prescribes Zoloft, what are the common side effects that you deal with, that patients deal with from this medication?
So in the first couple weeks of treatment, we described that there's a lot of serotonin in the gut as well as the brain. So the medicine often affects the gut first. So you might have diarrhea, constipation, difficulties with appetite, nausea, things like that.
And you also wrote in the note about history of present illness, 3 months postpartum, also 4 and 2-year-old feeling overwhelmed. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that came from the patient, Ms. Clancy?
Yes.
And furthermore, you wrote that the baby needing more attention, other kids more challenging too. Is that coming from the patient?
Yes.
And does she also describe she's having trouble leaving the baby, too anxious to do anything when she leaves, physical tension, heart racing, worries he won't eat or sleep because he's refusing the bottle?
Yes.
And did she say that makes her irritable?
Yes.
And in that same note is where you detail that she denied audio hallucinations, visual hallucinations. You also, correct?
Yes.
And you also detail suicidal ideation, homicidal ideation, denies no concern about hurting baby. Is the no concern about hurting baby, is that an observation you're making or something that came from Ms. Clancy?
It came from our conversation.
So at some point in time, she told you she had no concerns about harming the baby.
Yes, it was.
I object.
Just an objection? If you could rephrase that question.
What did she tell you about her thoughts about the baby?
I asked if there were those thoughts, and she denied them.
And did you also provide information to her about what to do if in between appointments there were emergencies or issues?
Yes, I believe that I did. I usually do when I meet a patient.
And in the page describing treatment follow-up plan, which would be in the initial diagnostic assessment from September 15th in that treatment follow-up plan section, there's a part there that says, if having urges to harm self or others, go to the nearest emergency room, call 911, or call the National Suicide Prevention and Crisis Hotline, correct?
Yes.
Is this page given to the patient?
They can access it online on the portal.
So Ms. Clancy would have the ability to go on here, look at the portal, and see what to do if she was having a crisis.
Yeah, just this this plan section. Yes.
Just the treatment plan section.
Yes.
So is it that she would have to search through the records, or is that something you can click on to see the treatment plan?
I'm not sure exactly what it looks like for a patient.
Okay, but that's one of the sections that's available to the patient, Lindsay Clancy, if she goes onto the portal.
Yes.
They just started
There's
Sheree.
also in here, if you feel you're in crisis, you may text home to a certain text number from anywhere in the United States. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what does that do when you text that text number you text home to that text number?
It connects you to a counselor.
Now, what was the treatment or follow-up plan for Ms. Clancy?
To start the sertraline, to start individual therapy, and to follow up with myself.
So your recommendation wasn't just that she take pills, you recommended that she attend therapy, correct?
Yes.
And when you recommended the therapy, did you, and the medication, did you also go over with Ms. Clancy alternatives to the medication that you were recommending?
I believe she was aware that the alternative was that she could not take a medication, which is what she had been doing before.
And after you went over all of this information with Ms. Clancy, did she convey to you that she understood the plan and was agreeable to the plan?
Yes.
What is informed consent?
Informed consent means you communicate with a patient what the risks and benefits are of treatment, and they understand that and they agree to the treatment.
And did Ms. Clancy show that she had informed consent to everything you discussed?
Yes.
Now, was your next appointment with Ms. Clancy on September 28th, 2022?
Yes, it was.
And so during that appointment, did you discuss the medication, the Zoloft, that you had prescribed to her?
Yes.
And what did you learn from Ms. Clancy about whether or not she had taken that medication?
She shared that she decided not to take it.
Did she tell you that she had picked it up but had decided not to take it?
Yes.
Did she tell you how she was feeling?
She said a little bit better.
And did she elaborate on that?
The baby was getting some more sleep, so she was also able to get some more sleep, and that helped her feel better.
And at this appointment, did you go through a mental status exam of Ms. Clancy?
Yes.
And what is a mental status exam?
So a mental status exam is an assessment
what she
of
told the
the
doctor.
patient at the point of meeting. It
This
can
is Dr.
change
Jennifer
at
Tipp,
different times, but
Lindsay's
it's
initial
comprehensive,
psychiatrist.
referring to how the patient appears, how they cooperate, how they speak, how they describe their thoughts, how they're able to communicate with you, and what their mood is like.
And do you do that at every appointment with every patient?
Yes.
And so on
Okay,
September
thanks
28th,
for-
2022, when you met with Lindsay Clancy for that second meeting,
We help each other
did you
through
do a
work.
mental status examination?
Yes, I did.
And what was the result of that?
So I can. Is it okay if I read it from the note, or do you just want me to?
There's no objection.
Go ahead, you may.
She was alert. She was oriented. She was appropriate. Her rapport, meaning how she worked with me, was appropriate. Dressed appropriately. Euthymic, meaning not depressed, not angry. Kind of a normal mood. Her affect was full. Her speech was appropriate. Her thought content and a process were appropriate. She did not mention any hallucinations. At this point, I mentioned her insight was poor. Her judgment was excellent. Her cognition did not show any deficits, and there was normal psychomotor activity.
And why did you list that her insight was poor?
Right.
So I think that must have been related to the fact that at this point, she did have some very clinically significant anxiety. Usually when people come to a psychiatrist, they believe that their symptoms are significant and that a medication is something that might be prescribed.
Because
But
if her
despite these
insight is
these
poor, then her
symptoms,
judgment
she
ain't good,
still didn't
ma'am.
want to try the medicine.
And what is the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist?
So a psychiatrist is a medical doctor. We go to medical school and then we specialize in psychiatry. A psychologist does not go to medical school. They may do a lot of research in their training.
put some
They
respect
may
on my
learn a
name.
lot about psychotherapy, but they don't learn about the human body, about how we metabolize medications and things like that.
And so can a psychiatrist prescribe medication?
Yes.
Can a psychologist prescribe medication?
No.
Now, in the medical records exhibit 219, page 47, it lists here recent lab work, no lab results were found. Is it that you had ordered lab work and you couldn't find the results, or that none were ordered?
None were ordered.
And why is that?
It was not necessary.
And why isn't it necessary at that point for Ms. Clancy to order blood work?
There's no blood work that is commonly done when a patient presents with generalized anxiety disorder and no other medical complications.
What types of situations would you order blood work for?
I mean, there could be a lot. Certain medications require laboratory monitoring. Maybe something that, could affect the kidneys or could affect the thyroid, could affect the cholesterol. These are things that we monitor to make sure that the medicine is prescribed safely.
And so Zoloft, is that not one of the ones that would need to be monitored because of its potential effects on the body?
Correct.
And at that time, she reported to you she wasn't even taking it yet, correct?
Correct.
All right.
And
So
your
there are
appointment
certain
that
names we
day,
don't have to
I
get
think according to the records, it was approximately 17 minutes long. Is that
blood
correct?
work for.
So can I explain that?
Absolutely.
Because I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding. So the 17 minutes I think people are looking at the note where it says a therapy start time of 10 a.m., a therapy end time of 10:17. So they're calculating 17 minutes. But those timestamps are specifically related to the therapy portion of the exam. They're not reflective of the complete duration of time when I met with her.
So what would be the complete time that you met with her on that day?
So I don't know the exact amount of minutes, but the appointments are 25-minute appointments. So it would be more or less a few minutes, about 25.
And so the 17 minutes that are for the therapy portion of the appointment, what comprises therapy? What does that involve?
It really varies based on the person, based on the situation. It can involve, providing some emotional support.
I apologize. Can we talk about Lindsay Clancy rather than in general? That's all.
It's
I'm
admissible.
going to allow a little bit of the background so that then we'll move into the defendant.
Thank you. So you were saying that therapy portion is kind of talking to the patient, seeing how they are, and getting an assessment of their current mental state.
Yes.
And the other 8 minutes, typically, what happens in those 8 minutes?
That's more focused on specifically medications and medication management.
So these appointments that you had with Lindsay Clancy, when it says 17 minutes, that's the therapy, the talk portion of the appointment. And then there was a separate portion where medication was discussed.
Yes, in the real world, those two segments are intertwined. So it's not necessarily that we say, this is the end of your therapy component. It's a bit more seamless than that.
Now, in your training and experience and the way you conduct your practice, if you're having a therapy portion or you're conducting therapy with a client and that 25 minutes has run out, is it a hard stop or is there an option to continue?
It's not a hard stop. I do have limitations because I have other patients that are waiting. But if there's something urgent, I can go a little bit over. If there's an emergency, I can cancel the next patient if I have to.
And these 25-minute appointments that you have, if a patient were to request a longer appointment with you, is that available?
It's an option.
Did Lindsay Clancy ever request a longer appointment time with you?
No.
Now, that appointment on September 28th, 2022, was that also a virtual appointment?
Yes.
And did Ms. Clancy appear to be alone in that virtual appointment?
Yes.
And based on your conversations and assessment of her on that day, what was the plan going forward?
So at this point, she was improving and we decided to pause on the medication question and have her meet with one of our therapists.
So that first appointment was on September 15th. You recommended therapy. The next appointment was September 28th. So had Lindsay not scheduled a therapy appointment yet with Jennifer McAllister at that point?
I'm not sure when she called to schedule that.
And but that was the plan going forward, that your recommendation was that she attend therapy with Jennifer McAllister?
Yes.
And did Ms. Clancy seem receptive to that plan?
Yes.
Did she tell you she was going to make an appointment with Ms. McAllister?
Yes.
Now, according to the records, the next appointment was October 3rd, 2022, just 5 days later. Was there a reason that you had such a short time span between that September 28th appointment and the October 3rd appointment with Ms. Clancy?
I believe that the patient must have scheduled the appointment on her own, and that's why the span of time was rather short.
Do you recall Ms. Clancy reaching out to you about getting paperwork for a maternity leave extension?
Yes.
And did she reach out to you through the portal for Astor Health?
Yes.
And did you respond to her on that portal?
Yes.
And did you fill out paperwork for her to extend her maternity leave?
I think that I did.
And so there is a message from Ms. Clancy to you on September 30th, 2022 in the portal that states, "Hi, Dr. Tufts.
Putting my
Thanks again
license
for
on
all
the
your help
wall.
at our
Uh-oh.
last 2 appointments. While I am feeling just better enough to function without medication, I did reach out to my employer about extending my leave for reasons of postpartum anxiety/depression. I don't feel mentally well enough to return to taking care of patients with a baby at home that still won't take the bottle. I know this will trigger my anxiety too much, and also having to stay up all night as a nurse, I don't feel it's possible right now. They asked that my provider could fill out a form so they could process this request. Can I please send you the form to fill out?" And you responded on September 30th, 2022 at 2:41 p.m. This type of paperwork often requires a lot of information, so it's best if we go through it together in an appointment. Do you recall that?
Yes.
So would that have been why the October 3rd appointment was set up?
That may have been, yes.
And then do you recall receiving a message from Ms. Clancy on October 10th, 2022, stating, "Hi, Dr. Tufts, there is a part on the serious health condition form that you filled out for me that needs to be changed. On the second page, you put I could work a reduced schedule of 8 hours per day, 2 days per week. However, we discussed not working at all until January 1st. I think we talked about when I return to work, that is what I could do, but that the way it appears on the form makes it seem like I can do that now. Do you still have the form to make the adjustment, or do I need to send it back to you?" And then you responded that you would send back an updated version. Is that correct?
Yes.
So do you recall having a conversation with Ms. Clancy at the October 3rd appointment about not returning to work and how long she should be out of work for?
I recall having a conversation about that.
And that January 1st date, was
You
that
said, "Wipe that
something
shit
you
out."
decided or something?
I
Ms.
said I was
Clancy
going back
requested?
now. I said
I
January.
think it was something that we decided together.
And in that appointment on October 3rd, did Ms. Clancy tell you that she was on the verge of taking the medication?
Yes.
And did you discuss that with her?
Yes.
And what was that discussion?
Well, she was having more anxiety again. It seemed like maybe it had started getting better, and then it was kind of where it had been when she initially reached out, and so she was feeling like a medication might be helpful.
And did Ms. Clancy tell you at that appointment that she wanted to try therapy before taking the medication?
Yes.
But she had not had an appointment with Jennifer McAllister yet, correct?
I'm not sure what date her first appointment was with Jennifer McAllister.
Showing you page 57 of Exhibit 219. An initial therapy assessment by Jennifer McAllister on October 3rd, 2022. Would that have been the first time she saw Ms. McAllister?
Yes.
So that's on that same day that you saw her. It looks like from the records you saw her at 11:30. Is that correct?
I don't have the time on my paper, but I'm sure that's correct.
Okay, so apparently she saw you about the work form, and then she had an appointment with Ms. McAllister. Is that correct?
Yes.
And it says here in the records that Jennifer McAllister is an LMHC. What is that?
A licensed mental health counselor.
And so is a counselor, a licensed mental health counselor, someone who can conduct therapy sessions?
Yes.
And why is it in your practice that you have a psychiatrist who does therapy and prescribes medication, but in addition, you would have a therapist doing counseling?
So today, a lot of psychiatry is practiced as a team. At least that's how we practice at my office. So oftentimes the therapist is able to see the patient every single week. They're able to focus in more depth on certain aspects of the patient's well-being, and so it's helpful to have one person paying extra attention to the therapy component, especially when the psychiatrist does have to spend a lot of time discussing the medications and thinking about the medications.
And so is that the teamwork approach that Lindsay Clancy received in her treatment at Astor Mental Health?
Yes.
And in that October 3rd assessment with Ms. McAllister, you reviewed those notes and records so that you could properly treat Ms. Clancy, correct?
Yes.
And in that first meeting with Ms. McAllister, the defendant described her relationship with her parents as very supportive and stable, correct?
I don't have Jennifer's notes in front of me.
Showing you page 60. You want to just review the notes?
Sure.
Look up when you're finished. Does that refresh your memory as to the notes that you reviewed from Lindsay's session with McAllister?
Yes.
And so in that session, Ms. Clancy stated that her parents were very supportive and stable.
Yes.
And she also mentioned having the support of an older sister who only lived 2.5 hours away. Is that correct?
That's what she stated in the note to Jen.
Did she also say that she was not close with her in-laws who lived in Scituate? She would see them often as they were her husband's parents, but she didn't generally allow them to watch the children. Is that correct?
That's what I read.
And there's a quote in here, don't have a particular reason why, they don't bug me about it either. Is that correct?
That's what I read.
So when they offered, you already knew you weren't going to let them get the kids.
On October 3rd, 2022, when you met with her that day, did you again do a mental status exam?
I'd have bust her in the back of the head with
Had
my
anything
Stanley
changed
cup
in
if
that
I'd have
mental
been sitting there.
status exam from the September 28th meeting that you had with her?
Can I review it?
Yes.
Impact them from getting insurance and what? Wow. Wow, I did not know that.
I mean, there isn't anything that stands out to me right now.
And I think that
Yesterday the chat was on her side. Today y'all said now,
was that her
baby.
insight was still poor.
Yes.
It was that for the same reasons you described earlier.
Yes.
The next time that you saw Ms. Clancy, was that on October 20th, 2022?
Yes.
And what information did you learn on that date about whether or not she was taking the Zoloft you had
I
prescribed?
know.
So she told me that she decided to start the Zoloft.
And did she tell you how long she had been taking it?
For 1 week.
And did she tell you that the previous night she had increased the dose?
Yes.
And that's what was in the original prescription, correct? To take the pills at 25 milligrams for 1 week and then increase to 50?
Yes.
So if that had been done, taking the 7 pills taking the pills for 1 week would be 7 pills, and then increasing the dosage the next night would be 2 pills.
Yes.
And so that would be 9 pills.
Yes.
When she told you she increased the dose, she told you she now feels awful. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what was it that was bothering her?
She was having increased difficulty sleeping. She had loss of appetite, diarrhea. She was feeling her mood was down. She was tearful and feeling very foggy and feeling very anxious.
Now, what is the lowest dose of Zoloft that you would prescribe a patient or could prescribe?
The smallest pill is 25,
And what's the highest dose of Zoloft?
200.
So she was on the lowest dose of 25. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then according to what she told you, she had increased for 1 night to 50 milligrams. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did she also tell you she was scared to start something new?
Yes.
Is that in terms of another medication?
Yes.
So what was your discussion with Ms. Clancy when she's telling you that she's having these issues with Zoloft, but she's afraid to try something new?
So we discussed what to do moving forward. So we discussed whether it would make sense to switch to a different medication at that point. And at that moment, because of her negative experience with the Zoloft, she did not want to start a new medication at that point.
At this meeting with her, did you ask her if she had any suicidal thoughts?
Yes.
What was her response?
No.
Did you ask her if she had any homicidal ideation or thoughts?
Yes.
What was her response?
No.
Did you ask her if she was hearing any voices or seeing any visual hallucinations?
I'm not sure if I asked that in that appointment, but she was very clearly not psychotic.
And why do you say that?
Because of how I described some of the signs of psychosis that are on the mental status exam, none of those were present.
What was her affect during this meeting?
It was depressed.
And did you write that that she was strike that? What was it about her affect that made you write that she was depressed?
She visually appeared like she was feeling sad.
And her mood, how did she report that to you?
That was depressed as well and anxious.
What about her thought content and process that day?
That was appropriate.
And her speech?
It was appropriate.
And her judgment and cognitive skills?
Her judgment was excellent, and her cognition didn't have any deficits.
And her psychomotor activity?
Normal.
So the main change here from previous visits was that she appeared depressed and anxious.
Yes.
Although she had appeared anxious that first visit, correct?
Yes.
So to make sure we have the timeline correct, the first visit she appeared anxious. The second visit she appeared to be doing better. The third visit, she still had that poor insight when you met about the paperwork. And then this fourth visit, she appears depressed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did she also tell you that she was worried about getting suicidal thoughts?
Yes.
So that would have come directly
At
from
that
her.
point, you
correct?
wouldn't have been on
And
that.
what was that? What were the details of that conversation?
So it was one of the things that she was anxious about. It was a fear of one day having suicidal thoughts if she were to continue to feel poorly.
You on site?
And showing
We
you
still gotta go
page
with cross though.
77.
Even before cross.
I know you said earlier you weren't sure if you asked her about audio.
Reddington gonna have to make up some ground with this one though.
To the interval history, if that refreshes your memory.
Yes.
So did you ask her about audio hallucinations and visual hallucinations?
On the 21st, I did.
Okay. All right, so then there was an appointment the following day on October 21st?
Yes,
So why did she have an appointment that following day?
because she was feeling pretty poorly after starting the Zoloft, so we were following her closely.
And at that point, you knew that she had had an appointment on the 3rd with Miss McAllister, correct?
Yes.
And do you know whether or not she had followed up making another appointment or was struggling with that?
She was planning on making another appointment. I don't know when that second appointment was scheduled.
When that first appointment where she was seeming depressed and having issues with Zoloft on October 20th, did you tell her to stop taking the medication at that point?
Yes, I did.
And did you discuss other options with her other than medication, like natural remedies?
Yes.
And what type of natural remedies did you discuss with Ms. Clancy?
So I mentioned things like fish oils, something called L-methylfolate or SEAM. These are supplements.
And why would you offer alternative remedies to a patient?
So it was because she seemed reluctant to start a prescribed medication. I thought she might be more open to something that was natural.
So you weren't pushing her to take a prescription medication, correct?
No.
Now, on October 21st, when you saw her, did she tell you that she hadn't been able to get any sleep the night before?
Yes.
You've already said she told you she wasn't having audio or visual hallucinations, correct?
Yes.
Did you ask her if she was having suicidal ideation or homicidal ideation?
Yes.
And what was her response?
No.
What was her affect that day?
It was depressed.
And did she tell you during your conversation that day that she had been anxious all day, not depressed or irritable, getting better?
Yes.
Okay, so she's telling you she's not depressed, but her affect to you appeared depressed. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that for the same reasons you stated earlier, those visual cues that you saw?
Yes.
Did she appear hyper or manic in any way?
No.
Was there any changes in her rate of speech or pattern of speech?
No.
Was there any difference in her mental status exam?
So y'all was basically arguing without arguing.
No.
And this appointment, was this appointment virtual as well?
Yes.
Had all your appointments up to this point been virtual?
Yes.
Was she alone in that virtual meeting?
Yes.
What was the plan that was formulated on October 21st?
So the plan was that she start a medication called Ativan to be taken as needed, which means not necessarily every day, but in the instance of severe anxiety.
And how did you explain to Ms. Clancy when to take the medication?
I don't remember exactly how I
Holy
explained that.
anxiety.
So in general, as a psychiatrist, when you're prescribing a medication like Ativan and you're telling a patient to take as needed, what does that mean?
So it means when the symptoms are present, and in this case in particular, when the symptoms are severe.
So with Ms. Clancy, what were the symptoms that she was experiencing that made you decide that Ativan would be an appropriate medication?
Anxiety.
So would it be when she was feeling anxious, feeling those symptoms of anxiety, that she should take the medication?
Yes.
And what was the dose again?
0.5.
What's the lowest dose of Ativan you can give?
0.5.
What's the highest dose?
Maybe 2.
So you started her at the lowest dose, the 0.5.
Yes.
And was there a specific time frame that you wanted her to try this in?
Yes, this was for 1 week.
And was the prescription for a 1 week amount, or is it hard to tell that because it's as needed?
It's hard to tell that without seeing exactly how many pills were prescribed.
And was there also, again, a recommendation to go to Ms. McAllister for therapy?
Yes.
And when were you recommending follow-up with Ms. Clancy?
1 week.
And why a short turnaround at this point?
Lindsay, we need to
Because
talk,
she was still
baby.
having very significant symptoms.
We need to talk.
And did you in
That's why I
fact see
can't go to
her on
court, because I
October
just capped
26,
it. I'm just going to ask
2022?
your ass.
Yes.
And at that appointment, what was Ms. Clancy's affect?
Depressed.
What was her mood according to her?
It was anxious and depressed.
And did you discuss with her whether she was taking the Ativan and whether it was working?
She said that it was not helpful for her sleep, but it made her feel less anxious.
And in this appointment, there was a discussion of Benadryl. Is that correct?
So she reported that Benadryl was something she had tried and it was helpful. It was taken over the counter.
Had you recommended or told her to take the Benadryl at that point?
I don't think so.
And so when you met with her and she told you that she had taken the Benadryl and it had helped, what was your reaction to that?
I was glad that something was helping.
And did she tell you how often she was taking it or how much of it she was taking?
I don't recall.
Did you ask her that day if she had any suicidal or homicidal ideation?
Yes.
And what was the response?
No.
Did you see any signs of psychosis that day?
No.
Up to that point on October 26, 2022, had you ever had any difficulties in communicating with Ms. Clancy?
No.
Any difficulties understanding her,
Yep,
or
she was being a
thinking she
nurse.
wasn't understanding what you were saying?
No.
She was adding shit herself. No.
At this appointment on October 26, 2022, did she tell you that she had scheduled an appointment for therapy with Ms. McAllister?
I don't remember. Oh, yes, she did. At that point, we discussed trying a new medication because she felt that whatever side effects were caused by the Zoloft had resolved, but she still had the same anxiety that she had had beforehand. So we discussed starting the medication Buspar at 5 milligrams twice a day.
And what is the lowest dose of Buspar?
5 milligrams.
And what is the highest dose you can prescribe?
The pills probably come up to 30 and multiple 30 pills taken per day.
So you could prescribe someone more than 30 milligrams per day?
Like a total dose of 60.
Okay. So you started her again at the lowest dose?
Yes.
And why did you choose Buspar?
So Buspar is very well tolerated. It's a very mild medicine, especially for someone who is experiencing side effects from another medication.
And what does Buspar do?
It lowers anxiety.
And was she to continue taking the Ativan with the Buspar?
She could continue taking it as needed if she were to have those extreme moments of anxiety.
So would it be that
It
the
wasn't just
Buspar
anxiety. That's the
twice a
problem.
day, and then if
I'm starting to really
if she
believe
felt
that.
really anxious, she could take an
Felt
Ativan?
comfortable with
Yes,
anxiety.
because given that low dose of the Buspirone, it might not have been enough of a dose to be effective right away.
And Buspar and Buspirone are the same thing?
Yes, sorry.
There's also a note in here prescribing.
All right, come on now, String.
hydroxyzine 25 milligrams daily as needed for anxiety. What is that?
Hydroxyzine is an antihistamine. It's similar to the Benadryl that she had been taking for sleep. So I recommended that she try the hydroxyzine. It is a safer medicine to take compared to the Ativan. So if someone is feeling very anxious and they can take a hydroxyzine and that prevents them from needing to take the Ativan, that's good. So I wanted her to at least try that option instead.
So you gave her several options on how to deal with the anxiety as it appeared each day. Is that correct?
Yes.
And why take hydroxyzine, which is an antihistamine, instead of just taking the Benadryl?
So they're very similar, but hydroxyzine is indicated for anxiety, whereas Benadryl is really indicated for allergies.
And you discussed this plan with Ms. Clancy, and did she agree to that plan?
Yes.
And in discussing it with her, for all the possible side effects and the interactions of the medications that you had prescribed?
Yes.
And did she voice any concerns about any of that?
No. I mean, I think she was still apprehensive about starting a new medicine and about potential side effects, but nothing specific.
She can't be that
General
damn
concern about medication.
concerned if she adding med.
But after you had the conversation and explained what you were recommending and prescribing, did she agree to that plan?
Yes.
Oh, Lindsay.
And was there any change in her mental status that day?
No.
Now, going to the next time that you saw Ms. Clancy, was that October 30? I'm sorry, was her next appointment on October 31st with Jennifer McAllister?
Yes.
So you were able to review in the records in preparation for your next appointment that she had, in fact, went to a therapy appointment. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the therapy appointment was that approximately an hour-long appointment with Ms. McAllister?
Yes.
When was your next appointment with Ms. Clancy?
November 2nd.
And on that date, was that also a virtual appointment?
Yes.
Do you know?
No, I was saying that she added the Benadryl, so she had already given her the Ativan to assist her with going to sleep. But I believe that one was for going to sleep. But she took it upon herself to say, okay, well, let me try Benadryl. Benadryl will put me to sleep. And so now we understand why the hydroxyzine was there. We was like, oh, why would she have something like that? Because the doctor said, well, hey, if you're already taking Benadryl and Benadryl is making you sleepy, it's a good thing that it's making you sleepy. But hey, try this hydroxyzine. Really similar to Benadryl, but Benadryl is for allergies, ma'am. We're going to take something for anxiety, okay? And then still left the Ativan there so that she could, in case she needed it. But you going to add allergy medicine to anxiety? On your own, but then you're reluctant when the doctor tell you to take something. I mean, I understand you a nurse, and on your side of nursing, you would say, hey, Benadryl, because I say that all the time. I do not take regular, and I understand because I'm one of those people that a lot of medications affect me way, like they hit me hard, stuff that don't affect other people. So if there's something wrong with me, I will, and they have to give me some sort of IV, I'll tell them, give me a Benadryl cocktail. That should have knocked me the fuck out, and I'll be good when I get up. You know what I mean? Like I don't want the hard stuff. So I get it. Why you would do it outside of allergies, but it's, yeah, you adding shit that, you know, that, but then question the doctor when she adds shit, and she sound like this was her lesson. I hate that kids had to pass behind it, but Dr. Tufts, this was your damn lesson because you was out here, she's about your age, y'all kind of favor, y'all, you was looking at yourself, and you giving this woman, you trying to make her feel better about things, you trying to make her feel comfortable about things, you trying to get her to take you serious. And now you up here going from fish oils and natural things to try this or this if you want to go to sleep, and try this or that if you want to do this. And now this bitch got a whole list of medications that your ass done prescribed, and she's suing your ass after she done some shit when this wasn't just anxiety. This was not just anxiety. I don't have nothing in my background but tech, insurance, and a host of other things that probably some work as in a halfway house. Okay. And what I'm saying is tech, halfway house, insurance, and a slew of early customer services telling me that your ass was trying to be taken serious. You saw yourself, you were looking in the mirror, y'all have similar characteristics, which are about a year apart. And then you up here like, what would have made me feel better? How can I get through to her? How can I get her to take this medicine? And you gave this motherfucker options, and she is
Whether the
cashing in.
therapy appointment with Ms. McAllister was in
She's
person
cashing in.
or virtual?
I'm not 100%
Meanwhile,
sure,
she's
but I
disagreeing
think
with
it was
everybody
virtual.
telling her anything outside of anxiety.
And up to this point,
She had
Ms.
diagnosed herself
Clancy
and didn't want to
ever
hear shit else.
told you that she didn't want to do virtual, that she wanted to come in person?
No.
She was sick though.
Now, on
She
this
was sick
November
as hell.
2nd appointment, did you have a discussion about the abuse bar?
Yes.
And what was that discussion?
So she did not start it. She was too afraid to start a new medication.
Did she tell you that she had continued with the Ativan and the Benadryl?
She said she continued with the Ativan.
Ativan. Was there any further discussion about the Benadryl or the other antihistamine that you had prescribed, the hydroxyzine? I hope I'm saying that correctly.
You are, and I'm not sure. I don't think there was much conversation about the Benadryl or the hydroxyzine.
And what was her affect that day?
It appeared appropriate.
And what was her mood? How did she report feeling?
Euthymic.
What does that mean?
Euthymic means a normal mood, not necessarily sad or angry or euphoric. It's just kind of neutral in the middle.
And would that have been a word coming from Ms. Clancy, or just how you describe the word you used to
It's
describe?
a clinical word.
Did you ask her if she had any suicidal or homicidal ideation?
Yes.
What was her response?
No.
Did you see any signs of psychosis present in her that day?
No.
That day, did you discuss alternatives to Ativan?
Yes.
And why were you discussing alternatives to the Ativan?
Because Ativan was not a medication I intended for her to be taking for a long period of time. It was a short-term medication.
And why is that?
Because it does have a risk of dependency when people take it for a long period of time, and especially at high doses.
So did you bring up this discussion about alternatives to Ativan, or did Ms. Clancy ask about it?
I think that was something I brought up.
And what were the alternatives that you discussed with her?
Remeron, trazodone, pregabalin, and hydroxyzine.
And what was it about those medications that you thought they would be appropriate for Ms. Clancy?
That they might be safer medications that could also help her with sleep, also help her with some of the anxiety.
And how are they safer?
So they don't have that risk of the dependency.
And while you're interacting with her and discussing the alternatives to Ativan, what was her mental status that day? Was there any change in it?
No.
And so after this discussion with her about the alternatives, was there a decision made on how to proceed?
Yes. So we discussed tapering the Ativan by 0.25 milligrams every 2 weeks.
And what does tapering mean?
It means slowly reducing.
And why do you slowly reduce the medication?
So when you are taking Ativan, like I mentioned, the risks of dependency, there's also risks of withdrawal symptoms if a medication like that is abruptly stopped. So that's why we gradually decrease it.
And so if the plan was to decrease it by 0.25 milligrams a week, what amount was she taking per week?
So it was by 0.25 milligrams every 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks, okay.
So at first we were decreasing it from 1 to 0.75.
So it was a 1 milligram pill that she was taking, and then she would just take less and less and less until she wasn't taking it any longer.
Yes.
Okay. And then had you, with Ms. Clancy, decided on a replacement for the Ativan?
At this point, I don't think there was a medicine that we had decided on.
So the plan at that point was just to taper off the Ativan, but nothing was added at that point?
Yes.
So you just gonna do it your way. If you taper off the damn medicine, you ain't gonna be on nothing.
Did you next see Ms. Clancy on November 22nd, 2022?
Yes.
And do you recall why there was a 20-day gap between seeing her on the 2nd and then seeing her on the 22nd?
Well, I'm not sure. I would really be guessing if I said.
Okay. Did you learn at that appointment on November 22nd of 2022 that Ms. Clancy had started another program?
Yes.
And what program was that?
It was a South Shore perinatal mental health clinic.
And was that the first that you learned of Ms. Clancy being involved in that program?
Yes.
Did she tell you she was thinking about doing it, or that she was already enrolled in that program?
That she was enrolled in it, and that what it sounded like she was going to be transferring her care there.
Okay. And did she tell you that she was starting a new medication?
Yes.
What did she tell you she was starting?
She
Just
said she was
doing
going
shit
to
without
start
no
Prozac.
recommendation.
And did she also tell you that what she was currently using for medication?
Yes.
And what was that?
The Ativan and the Benadryl.
And did she tell you that was for sleep as needed?
Yes.
And
But
so
she was-
you
hold
had
the
put
fuck
into
up
place
now.
a plan on November 2nd to
Now, didn't she just say at the appointment on November 2nd that they was talking about tapering off and had made plans to get her the fuck off of that Ativan? So then you don't come back for 20 days, say, I'm moving my care, but by the way, I'm still taking the shit I could be dependent on, and I didn't put the allergy medication back in it? She wasn't listening. Y'all couldn't save Lindsay from her diagnosis until y'all saved Lindsay from Lindsay, because Lindsay doing what the fuck Lindsay want to do, it seemed like at this point. You're going to have to come through and help me understand this, Reddington, because at this point, I'm not mad at Dr. Tufts at the moment. Maybe some more information going to come out. Now, shit.
taper off the Ativan, but on November 22nd, she was still on the Ativan. Is that correct?
Yes.
And had she tapered off or reduced the dose, to your knowledge?
I don't have it documented exactly what dose she was taking on that date. She was just still taking the medicine.
Still taking it, okay. On that date, did Ms. Clancy deny suicidal and homicidal ideation?
Yes.
Did she show any signs of psychosis?
No.
Did she also tell you that she was going to be transferring her therapy care to that South Shore Perinatal Health Clinic?
Yes.
So basically, at that point, the plan was for her to receive her mental health care at the South Shore Perinatal Clinic and no longer see you? Was that the
Yes.
plan? Okay. Was there also discussion of a return to work letter that day?
Yes.
And did she request that from you?
Yes.
And did you give her a return to work letter?
Yes.
And was that authorizing her to return to work immediately or on January 1st, as the previous form had said?
I don't remember what date it was for her to return to work. I don't think it was immediate.
Now to put on there, she on Ativan too long and she on that
Did you
Benadryl,
then,
but if you want her to make
have
her
a
rounds, you
further
better make sure she
appointment,
ain't sleep. Ask me
with Ms.
for a
Clancy
return to
on
work letter.
December 1st, 2022?
Yes.
And how is it that, she was planning on transferring care to the South Shore Perinatal Clinic on November 20th, but then on December 1st, she has an appointment with you?
So patients can schedule their own appointments. I'm not involved in the scheduling. I can schedule an appointment if someone asks me to, but they can schedule it without my awareness. So she had scheduled it.
So she hadn't reached out to you in
Another
advance
thing,
to
they're
ask
gonna hurry up
about
and
it. She
get
just
it let
scheduled an appointment with
everything
you
get
for
started,
December
Brittany.
1st, 2022.
That's
Is that
gonna
correct?
be
Yes.
Okay. And in
a
that
mess.
appointment, did she tell you that she ended up not returning to work?
Yes.
And what was discussed at that appointment?
That
Wait, what
she
was the
wasn't
date for
getting
this
better.
appointment?
And in what ways wasn't she getting better?
She had tried the Ativan taper, but without the Ativan, she was having a lot of difficulty sleeping. So she tried a few different medications, a few different medication combinations.
Oh shit!
But she was having trouble with them.
And did she tell you what types of medication she had tried?
Yes.
And what were those?
Trazodone 50 to 150 milligrams was minimal effect. Ativan and Benadryl combination was helpful. Then she added the Prozac 10 milligrams with the Ativan and Benadryl to help with the sleep, but she still had worse sleep, so that was stopped. Then she tried a combination of Remeron with Klonopin, but she felt disoriented, had rebound anxiety, and it was of minimal help. Then she tried Remeron and Seroquel, and that was prescribed, but she didn't take it.
And these medications that she was talking to you about, those weren't prescribed by you, correct?
Correct.
Did she tell you that those had been prescribed by her provider at South Shore Perinatal Clinic?
Yes.
And what is Trazodone?
It is the
I
category
want
is
to
an
say it.
antidepressant.
Y'all said it
but the
first.
doses that we use are low, so it's really a sleep medicine.
And what is the lowest dose of Trazodone?
50.
And what is the highest?
It can go very high, up to maybe 600.
Okay. So the 50 to 150 milligrams that Ms. Clancy told you she had taken, is
What
that on
day
the
was
lower
this?
end of the
Oh
dosage?
Jesus!
Yes, it's the commonly prescribed dose, again, because it's mostly used as a sleep medicine. So those are the normal ranges.
Okay. And Prozac, I think you had said earlier, was an SSRI.
Yes.
And that was a medication Ms. Clancy had told you she had taken in nursing school, correct?
Yes.
With no side effects then?
Yes.
And she told you on December 1st, 2022, that the Prozac had worsened her sleep?
Yes.
And then what is Remeron?
Remeron is mirtazapine.
And what's that?
It's another antidepressant.
And what is Klonopin?
It is a benzodiazepine like the Ativan.
So prescribing Remeron as an antidepressant and Klonopin as an anxiety medication, is that an unusual combination?
No.
And then she told you she had been prescribed Remeron and Seroquel, but hadn't started that, correct?
So I think she had started the Remeron, but maybe hadn't started the Seroquel yet.
Okay. And did she also tell you that she was having some intrusive thoughts on the Remeron, so she was planning on stopping?
Yes.
Did she tell you what those intrusive thoughts were?
She said it was a feeling like I'm going to die.
Not a feeling that she wanted to kill herself, but a feeling like she was going to die.
Yes.
Did you ask her if she had suicidal ideation?
Yes.
What was her response?
So she denied having suicidal ideation, but
So was
she
it making her
was
sick, or
feeling pretty badly. She said she was close to it, meaning close to having some suicidal thoughts, and that she was feeling very hopeless. But she didn't have any active thoughts of hurting herself, didn't have any intention of doing anything, didn't have any plans.
Did she also tell you, and this is a quote in the records on page 144,
so Remeron,
I think it's my
the
problem.
chat, and
I
we
keep
end up with
reaching out
these
to
thoughts.
different people and not sticking with the plan.
That's what I documented.
And did you discuss that with her, that concern that she kept reaching out to different people and wouldn't stick with the plan?
Yes, I advised that she have one person who
So that's why she
is
left your ass.
managing the medications,
And why is that important?
so that it's very clear what's happening.
And what is the importance, if any, of sticking with a plan, a mental health plan?
Well, the importance of sticking with a plan. Obviously, the psychiatrist comes up with a plan for very particular reasons. And so, sticking with the plan is
Ready to tussle with
advisable.
you about that one,
When you
but
prescribe psychiatric
I don't
medications,
disagree with
do
you.
those medications take effect immediately?
No.
But if somebody is sick, you
How do
can't trust
they,
them.
how does that effect start to happen in a person?
Well, it depends which medicine. Some medicines do work very quickly.
Real quick, I know this is probably not the right but truly, if we have any mental health professionals in here, please let me know, because at this point, this is getting scary. And at this point, would they not have been able to commit her? Like for a week or something, like something to get all this out her system, because she's not listening. She's doing things. She has to be saved from herself. She has pretty much a lot of the same education that they do. She's choosing what she wants to do and what she doesn't want to do. She's not sticking to the plan. She's went to someone else. She's taking those meds too. It's all like, could we not have saved her by saying, hey, there was an issue of dependency that we talked about, and now she didn't come to me for 20 days and she's still taking that shit I told her to stop taking. Like, I imagine finding the right combination for her is going to be different for every single person. Just like it's a tango, it's a bad dance in the dark, blindfolded, trying to find the right therapist, right? So this is scary. This is scary because she was sick. She was sick. She truly was sick. I don't care what happened in the process. She was sick. She was sick as hell. But she's denying diagnosis. She's switching up stuff. She's adding things in. There's no way you would be able to manage something if you did. I can't manage anything. I can't help you with anything. I don't know what you're doing if you disappear for 20 days and come back with, let's see, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possible combinations that she had taken in them 20 days. At that point, I'm scared of you. And she may have accidentally got herself stuck on that dang on Ativan just by not stopping. She could have made herself the Ativan for life, you know? Like, this is crazy.
Like the benzodiazepines,
This is
Ativan and
scary.
Clonopin. But the medicines that prevent
You think she was
anxiety, the
faking?
medicines that prevent depression, those do take a long time to actually kick in.
And why is that?
So the way that the medications interact with the brain, the serotonin receptors, the way that they change the neurotransmitters, it takes
all
time
at the
for
advice
those
of
changes to
doctors.
happen.
You're right. But
Now,
are the doctors not seeing what the other doctor gave?
Did you also talk to Ms.
Jesus.
Clancy about bipolar disorder that day?
Yes.
And why did you do that?
So it was mentioned because of the poor reaction she had to some of her medications, the insomnia. So we discussed whether these side effects she was experiencing indicated she had bipolar disorder. But when that was assessed, it was not deemed that she had bipolar disorder.
And why was that?
Because she really didn't meet the criteria.
And what criteria
Well, she didn't have
she
that.
meet?
Well, what the
So
fuck?
there's a number of different criteria for bipolar disorder, or specifically looking at mania.
Yeah, I'm
because
really confused.
She did have some symptoms of depression, but the other side is mania. So the most important one is euphoria. So actually 7 days of continued euphoria with very high energy levels. That's the most important one. But then in addition to that, you need some other things like potentially pressured
I'm
speech,
confused.
grandiosity, which is like a person feeling superhuman or godlike. You might see increased risk-taking behaviors. Usually those are significant risks, like somebody having affairs or using drugs, things that really negatively impact their life.
At this point, put up,
The
please figure it
person
out, Nick, because
might have a decreased need for sleep, which is not just insomnia, but it's truly not needing the sleep and having enormous amounts of energy otherwise.
What is pressured speech?
It means talking very fast, so fast that it's really hard to interrupt them.
And did you ask Ms. Clancy on December 1st questions that would
damn, Lindsay.
potentially elicit whether or not she met that criteria?
Yes.
And did any of her responses to your questions indicate any instances of mania in her past or present?
No.
Now, they did mention that she, at her initial visit, had a lot of drinking to it, but her
What was the plan
toxicology
going
didn't have
forward
no
from that day?
alcohol.
So at this point, she was still seeing the doctors or the providers at South Shore. And so they were still managing her medications. So the plan was that she had an appointment with them tomorrow. She was considering taking the considering taking the Seroquel without the Remeron because she had side effects with that, but that wasn't decided on. That was something to consider. And we also talked about starting a medicine called lamotrigine. I just gave her some information about the medicine. And we also talked about her going to a partial hospitalization program, which provides extra support for people who are really struggling.
Lamotrigine, is that Lamictal?
Yes.
And did you prescribe it to her that day or just discuss that option with her?
Just discussed on that
And
day.
why did you discuss that option?
There you
with
go.
her?
Partial hospital program, because
it
baby, you got to go
was
sit down
clear
for a
that she
second.
had depressive symptoms and she was not
Where is she
tolerating some of
presently?
the other
I think it's called
antidepressants.
Duxbury
So I
State
thought that
Hospital.
might be another option to explore.
And you also discussed with her a partial hospitalization program?
Yes.
And why did you do that?
Because she was really having a hard time. She had, mentioned those thoughts of feeling hopeless and the intrusive thoughts. So I referred her to a program that would provide extra support. It would be a program that she went to every single day, not hospitalized. She could still stay at home and be with her family, but that she would have all day care every day for, as long as that was needed.
And what program was that you referred her to?
The HRI program.
What does HRI stand for?
It's a hospital. I'm not sure what it stands for.
And where is that program located?
It's in Massachusetts, I think Brookline.
And when you referred her, when you talked about that program with Ms. Clancy and referred her to that program, what was her response?
Well, I gave her the information for it. It's a program where the patient can call and schedule their intake appointment. So I gave her that information.
I'm going to say two things and I'm going to let this play. That old man has been exceptionally quiet. And I'm pretty sure Reddington is not asleep. So Reddington is letting her say all of this because I believe he is, come on, keep talking. He has not interrupted one fucking time. Not at all. Maybe a little bit in the beginning about keep this to Clancy and not general. But other than that, he has not interrupted one fucking thing about Clancy. Then on top of this, they are going late. It is 3:24. They gonna let him sit all weekend with this information to be able to run these tapes back? Yeah, this gonna be a hell of a cross. I'm just gonna say that.
And was there any concern at that point? You had mentioned earlier that it's important
Well,
to have,
3B.
one provider prescribing medication, knowing what you're taking. You knew she was going to the South Shore Perinatal Program. Was there any concern about discussing medications with her, like Lamictal, on the first, when you knew she was seeing these other providers?
Well, she continued to see me in more of a supportive role, and I was just trying to help her, give her as much information that could potentially be helpful. So it was something for her to discuss with the other providers.
Did you ever reach out to South Shore or to get those records, or ask Lindsay for some type of waiver to get the South Shore records?
No, I didn't. And, the reason why is because she was very aware of what the medications were. She was very, very able to communicate what the different treatment decisions were. She was very medically sophisticated. So I didn't think it was necessary.
And you were aware she was a labor and delivery nurse, correct?
Yes.
So you were aware she was familiar with medications, and she was able to communicate with you on a level that's not a typical patient, correct?
Yes.
Did you next see her on December 16th, 2022?
Yes.
That's
And,
scary.
Did you
That's
make
what.
that appointment with her, or did she reach out as she did on the December 1st and make her own appointment?
I'm not sure.
And that appointment on December 16th, 2022, what did you discuss with her that day?
So she was.
I would have quit talking to her ass. Talk to your
not feeling
doctor.
well, she said, I'm having a really rough time.
She trusted her way too much.
Though she said she found something that was helpful for her sleep, Valium, and
I said I wasn't going to stop it no more, but I lied. She trusted Lindsay way too much. But the scary part is if she wrote any prescriptions while she was in this supportive role, she probably wrote a check that her ass ain't gonna be able to cash. Because if she's in a supportive role, but her psychiatry and therapy situations are over at South Shore, baby, you got to go to South Shore. I know you want to call me. I know you want to talk. I know you want to telehealth, but it got to be the other doctors. I hope she didn't write any scripts for Lindsay based off of Lindsay's word without getting that waiver just because of her medical sophistication. Lindsay's no dummy.
quetiapine, which is Seroquel. She said it finally works, but feeling very depressed during the day, no motivation, had some SI, so suicidal ideation. So she went to Mass General emergency room, declined inpatient. She was feeling hopeless, but didn't have any intent or suicidal plans.
So when she told you that she had some suicidal ideation, did you ask her specifics about that?
Yes.
And what was her response?
So she described it as this hopelessness, like a fear of not getting better.
Did she have a plan on a plan to kill herself, or a plan of how to kill herself?
No.
And you mentioned she told you she went to Mass General Hospital Emergency Department because of these feelings. Is that correct?
Yes.
And did she tell you that they had offered her an inpatient program at McLean and she had turned them down?
Yes.
Did she tell you why she turned them down?
I don't remember.
Did she tell you about plans? Did she tell you what she was taking for medication at that point in the plans for medication?
She said she was taking a mixture of the Valium and the quetiapine, and there was a plan to increase the quetiapine, but currently she was taking 200 milligrams.
And did she also talk to you about the Women and Infants program in Rhode Island?
Yes.
And what did she tell you about that?
She said that she was referred and appointments were being scheduled.
And were you familiar with that program?
I've heard about it.
What type of program is it?
It's one of those partial hospitalization programs that I had mentioned, but it is focused on postpartum. So I thought that was a good fit.
Did she tell you during this appointment that she thought that her depression was related to the Seroquel?
Yes.
And did she tell you why she thought that?
She thought there was some coinciding of the timing in which she started the Seroquel and started feeling depressed.
And did you note in the records that it was unclear if Seroquel was causing the depression as reported? She was more depressed the last visit before taking it.
Yes.
Can you just explain that, what your observations were?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if the Seroquel was making her worse because she did already seem depressed before she had started the Seroquel. So I wasn't sure. I thought it was possible, but.
What was the plan going forward from that appointment?
So the plan was for her to go to this Women in Infants program. And if she was having more suicidal thoughts, to go back to the emergency room.
And was she also planning to start Lamictal 25 milligrams daily?
Yes, at that moment, given how the depression was continuing and worsening, I did feel like after we had discussed the Lamictal numerous times that I did need to step in and prescribe that for her.
And you prescribed the
There it
25
go.
milligram daily dose for her?
Yes,
There the fuck
What's the
it
lowest
goes.
level of Lamictal that you would prescribe?
25.
And what's the highest?
So in psychiatry, typically 200, but I mean, it really can go up to 400 or 500.
And so again, you prescribed the lowest dose to start with, correct?
Yes.
And was she to continue with the Seroquel that she had been prescribed by the South Shore perinatal program?
Yes.
And what about Valium?
So I didn't make a recommendation on
One time, because I know we probably about to end. Are good if you there you go, Montresa. I said if she knew that her psychiatry and therapy needs were being taken care of at South Shore, and I just said, she said that she remember she said on November 22nd, oh, I'm not going to be seeing you anymore. Just go ahead and sign my return to work. But then she comes back to her around November 1st, not getting better. I didn't end up going back to work. I didn't tapered off the Ativan, but it don't nothing work for me but Ativan. She had all these other combos that were prescribed by her other doctors at South Shore. Then she comes back when she said they talked about possibly Lamictal, considering it, but this person is telling you I've transferred my care, even though, and she's just seeing me in a supportive role. But by December 16th, her supportive ass then stepped in and said, yeah, you seemed a bit more depressed to me last time than you are this time. I don't think it's the Seroquel. I'm gonna give you some Lamictal. You just said she did not sign a waiver saying you can see what the fuck she's actually taking from them doctors. I understand that she can communicate medications way better than anybody else because she's a fucking nurse and a great one from what we know. So yes, she would be able to communicate on a level that she would be able to communicate with a patient who was laid. She can communicate. We know this, but you did not reach out to her doctors to confirm for the fuck sure what she was taking. And you said, I stepped in and gave her a little bit of Lamictal. That's why your ass being sued.
the Valium. I think there was a plan already in place on tapering it that I supported.
And did you do anything in terms of reaching out to her providers at South Shore Perinatal to let them know you were adding a prescription, or did you communicate with Ms. Clancy about letting her providers know?
I communicated with Lindsay about that, and she was so good at giving me all of these updates about what she did with them. I figured she would tell them when she next saw them.
And did she tell you that she would update them?
I believe so.
Was the next time you saw Ms. Clancy on January 6th, 2023?
Yes.
And how did that appointment come about?
Motherfucker.
So again, I don't often do the scheduling. I'm not sure exactly whether
y'all catch
I
that?
scheduled that or she had.
Did you learn during that appointment that Ms. Clancy had just been discharged from McLean Hospital?
Oh, y'all trying to raise my
Yes.
pressure on a Friday.
And what, if anything, did Ms. Clancy tell you about her current mental state and what had happened between your last appointment on December 16th and now this appointment on January 6th?
I have been locked up.
She was continuing to feel depressed and
I paused it, Mia. Catch this shit. Now, y'all was all wrong, and she knew what the fuck she was. Well, wait a minute. I won't put that on her, but this ain't gonna come off right. But if somebody in the jury caught this may make Lindsay look fucking crazy. Let me tell you something. I know you fucking lying, Keisha. January the 6th, she made an appointment with Dr. Tufts. Now, we know from openings, they said she started out with Dr. Tufts. She ended up with McAllister. Then she went to somebody else she went to somebody else in between there. And then she ended up dropping all of them and going back to Dr. Tufts. She did not go straight back to Dr. Tufts. What she did was, when them motherfuckers in the clink told her, you ain't getting your ass out of here unless we see you gonna go ahead and make this appointment. She didn't make her appointment with the motherfuckers that was assigning her stuff and giving her combos and probably rigorous on her dang on figuring out the right combo. She made her fucking appointment to get out of there with her bestie. This lady. She knew she'd be able to come and talk to her, come chill with her, because you let her come and tell you all these things. I'll write you something. I'll step in if you need. I'll do this. I'll hear about that. As somebody that was not going to ask for the other records from South Shore, because she just said she ain't never asked for them. And honestly, who knows? Them motherfuckers at South Shore probably would have said, nah, keep her ass there. We ain't making no appointment. We've been trying to figure out this sleep thing. We done tried this and that and added this and took away that, carried a one, put this one in there, half of this, a little bit more of that. We've been trying everything to get that motherfucker to sleep. You need more time to figure out why she ain't going to sleep. Keep her ass there. But guess who wouldn't have said that?
Baby,
you got to clean this up, Reddington. That ain't sound good.
To the Seroquel that she had been taking.
I ain't gonna say she was doc shopping, but she knew who could get her to her daughter's birthday party. I'll say that.
So that she could be safely taken off of
I'm not gonna say she was doc shopping, but again, Lindsay gonna do what Lindsay gonna do.
That she had tapered off the Seroquel?
Yes.
And so on January 6th, did she tell you what she was prescribed at that time?
Yes.
And what was that?
Trazodone 100 milligrams, Ativan 1 milligram, and melatonin 5 milligrams.
And are these all low doses of these medications?
Yes.
Did you ask her if she had current suicidal ideation?
Yes.
And what did she say?
No.
Did you ask her if she had homicidal ideation?
Yes.
And what was her response?
No.
Did you observe any signs or symptoms of psychosis in her?
You wanted to go to the birthday party? No, ain't nothing wrong with her.
No, I did not.
Did you ask her about whether she was having side effects from these medications, the Trazodone and the Ativan and the melatonin?
Yes.
What was her response?
So the only side effect she felt was that potentially when the Ativan would wear off, she would take it at night, and then in the morning it would wear off, and she would feel more anxious after it wore off.
That damn Ativan.
And in terms of the Trazodone, did she say she had any side effects from the Trazodone?
No.
And melatonin, what is melatonin?
Melatonin is a chemical that the brain makes that tells us it's time to go to sleep. It's associated with the circadian rhythm. It's not a prescription, actually. It's a medicine.
She didn't never get off the Ativan.
In over the counter at the pharmacy.
And is it just to help?
She harmed herself more by trying to get to that damn that damn birthday party.
What was her mood, according to Miss Clancy, on that day?
This woman on the stand ain't know what was going on with that other doctor.
Was feeling numb.
Numb. Did that cause you any concern?
This is sad.
Yes.
And why is that?
Sad.
Well, she still appeared quite depressed.
And in what way? Was that her affect?
It was, yes, her affect was congruent, meaning it was the same as her mood.
So just so we can understand.
And y'all want to know what's even more fucked up? Even though there's no communication between Tufts, who was on the stand, and Banner, or I said Banner, Banner's out here in Arizona, and and South Shore, is that they weren't communicating. But because Tufts isn't communicating with anybody, Dr. Goodhart from this morning had no clue that prescribing Ativan was at a time where there was a question that she could possibly become dependent on it. She had already been on it too long. So they were prescribing stuff that Tufts had said was no longer safe for her. And everybody's saying, oh, let's start there. Oh, let's start there. If everybody's starting at the same spot, she's never getting off of Ativan. And now she's saying, when the Ativan wears off, I feel even more anxious. So what's this going to make you do? Take more Ativan. This is scary as fuck.
Dan, so if I'm happy, if I tell you I'm happy and I appear happy, is that congruent?
Yes.
And if I tell you I'm happy but I appear sad, is that incongruent?
Yes.
And is that
No,
important when evaluating a patient?
Yes.
And why is that?
Sometimes it's not congruent, and there could be all sorts of reasons why, but it's just something to pay attention to.
And so on this day, though her mood and her affect were congruent.
Yes.
Okay. And was there a plan formulated for that day, on that day?
You've been testifying all this long, and you wait till now to give us this shit. You should have said this shit up front.
The plan on that day was to increase the trazodone to 150 milligrams. She had previously taken that dose and tolerated it well. She had just come off of the Seroquel at Mass General, at McLean. So we were still in the phase where we were monitoring to see if the depression might get better off of that medicine.
And is that why you didn't immediately prescribe a new antidepressant?
Yes.
Was she to continue the Ativan at 1 milligram per night and the melatonin at 5 milligrams per night?
Yes.
And I believe in this note for under condition, you wrote deteriorating.
Yes.
And why is that?
So it sounds like a very strong word. I will give some context that it's not my choice of a word. I have 3 options when I'm filling that out. I can say a patient is improving, unchanged, or deteriorating. So she wasn't improving and she wasn't really unchanged. She appeared a little bit worse than the last time I had seen her. So the best word is to say deteriorating.
Okay. Was there anything about her presentation or affect, things that she told you that led you to believe that she was in imminent danger of harming herself or someone else?
No, there wasn't. And we had, she was feeling depressed and we had a plan to address that.
Is there something you can do if you have a patient who you think is at risk of harming themselves or others?
Yes.
And what is that?
I could issue a Section 12, which would mandate that they be brought to a hospital for treatment, or at least for evaluation and then possible treatment.
And did you feel that was necessary at that time with Ms. Clancy?
No. And
when you're evaluating a patient, taking the history, looking at their current state, looking at what the answers they give you to the questions, are you reliant on the information that they give you?
Yes.
So if a patient withholds important information, is it hard to make a diagnosis or a plan?
Yes.
Because baby, all she wanted to get
was your next appointment with Ms. Clancy on January 9th,
that birthday
2023.
Yes.
But you didn't even know she was trying to get to a birthday party because you ain't talked to nobody.
So she said that the trazodone increase was helpful. She was still getting that rebound anxiety the day after she took the Ativan. The mood was okay, but she was feeling like she was still flat. She wasn't able to cry, but she said she was able to laugh a little bit, and hadn't been having recent thoughts of suicidal ideation.
Had not been?
Had not been.
And did you also ask her if she had any homicidal ideation?
Yes.
And what was her response?
No.
Did you notice any signs or symptoms of psychosis?
No, I did not.
Did you have a discussion with her about trying an antidepressant?
Yes, I did.
And what was that discussion?
So at this point, she had been off of the Seroquel for a couple weeks and she wasn't getting better. So I thought that suggested the Seroquel might not have been what was causing depression, and it was depression. So that was what we needed to treat.
And what were your suggestions for treatment of the depression?
We considered some different options. We didn't pick a medicine on that date, but we considered amitriptyline and Wellbutrin.
And Wellbutrin was one of the medications she had taken when she was in nursing school, correct?
Yes.
And you discussed those medications on the 9th. Why wasn't a decision made that day?
Because we had made a different medication change because of that rebound anxiety with the Ativan. We decided to switch that to diazepam, which is Valium, and it has a longer half-life, meaning it's broken down by the body much more slowly, so you're less likely to get that rebound anxiety. And also the nice thing about the diazepam is it's easier to stop gradually. You can every week or every couple weeks, you can increase the dose by just 1 or 2 milligrams. So it's a lot easier to stop. So I felt that was a better alternative. And she also wanted to be off of the Ativan, so and be able to sleep without that kind of medicine.
And I don't think I asked.
Because she was getting dependent.
Rebound anxiety.
It just means that when the medication that treats the anxiety gets out of the system, the anxiety comes back, and it comes back even worse.
And you explained it a little bit, but what is a half-life of a medication, and what does that mean in terms of the body processing it and how it affects you?
Yeah, so it's a little bit complicated, but it's basically the time it takes for half of the medicine to be broken down by the body.
And that tells you or indicates to you how long it lasts in the system?
Yes.
And so you were saying that Valium, the diazepam, the Valium, might avoid the rebound anxiety because it's slower to leave the body. Is that right?
Yes.
She had been telling them people in McLean she didn't want to depend on that Ativan. She had been on it too long.
Did Ms. Clancy send you, after this appointment on the 9th, January 9th, did she send you emails on January 11th, 2023, asking you about your knowledge and thoughts on ketamine therapy and whether that would be a good option for her?
Yes, she did.
And what was your response to that? If you can't find it, I can bring it up to you.
I think I have
Look at the
it.
judge looking over there like, go on, bring it up and see what time it
I
is.
mentioned that it's a great option, but it can be hard to get the insurance coverage for it. Usually you need to have demonstrated that you've tried 4 different antidepressants first, and so that it might be necessary to try another medicine first.
Okay. In that email where she was asking you about ketamine therapy, did she tell you that she was, did she say, I'm still
Like a
feeling
prior authorization would be
very low
needed.
mood, no motivation, just very depressed. This has been going on for months now, and I'm getting desperate for something that would work quickly to get me out of this depressed state. Do you remember that being part of the email?
Yes.
Had she indicated thoughts like that to you before, wanting something that would work quickly to help her feel better quickly?
I mean, she may have said that once or twice.
Do you know where, strike that, did you ever recommend ketamine therapy to you, or is this something she broached to you in this email for the first time?
It was something I had considered because at this point she was starting to be a bit treatment resistant, and ketamine is a treatment for treatment resistant depression. So it's a reasonable thought, but I didn't think we were at that point yet.
Where's her GPT
And you
history?
mentioned that insurance companies usually require you to try 4 antidepressants. Is that correct?
Yes.
And when you say treatment resistant, is that someone who is in depression, but the typical medications aren't working for them?
Yes.
And did you have an appointment with Ms. Clancy on January 16th, 2023?
Was she treatment resistant, or did she want something
I
to
did.
work quick?
And what was your interaction with Ms. Clancy on January 16th?
Her mood was still very low. She was still depressed. It was she was able to get out of bed and take care of her basics like hygiene and eating. Her concentration was fine, and she was doing what she needed to do to take care of her baby. Though she subjectively felt like the bonding was forced with the baby.
She told you that the bonding felt forced with the baby.
Yes,
Did you ask her if she had suicidal or homicidal ideation?
I did.
And what was her response?
No.
Did she show any of the signs or symptoms of psychosis on that day?
No, she did not.
Did you have a discussion about a Valium taper?
Yes.
That's a
And why
heck
did you have
of
that
an
discussion? You
either
brought
or,
that up.
Jay. Only one or the other.
That
Jeez.
was because she really did not want to have to take
That's
a
what they said, Nikki.
benzodiazepine medication every day for sleep. So we discussed how to come off of that medication safely.
And that again, is that like taper off to take a little bit less each time?
Yes.
And did she agree with that plan?
Yes.
Was a decision made at that point on which, if any, antidepressant to take?
No, we had not made a decision. Oh, sorry. At this point, we did. We did go ahead and decide to try the amitriptyline.
And what is amitriptyline?
So it is a tricyclic antidepressant.
What does that mean?
It's an older antidepressant. It's been around for very many years. It helps treat insomnia and some pain, headache conditions as well.
And the dose that you prescribed, did you say it was 10 milligrams?
Yes.
Is that the lowest dose?
Yes.
And what's the highest dose?
Can get quite high, maybe 150.
And so again, you started her at the lowest dose. Why was it that throughout this time you're treating her and trying these different medications that you always start at the lowest dose with her?
That's standard practice because the medications, they have side effects, and the lower the dose, the more mild the side effects are, and it gives the patient time to acclimate to the medicine, and then you gradually increase it depending on how they're tolerating it.
And what was the plan going, what was her mood and affect that day?
It was depressed, mood was depressed, affect was depressed and flat.
And at that point in time where she's denying suicidal ideation, denying homicidal ideation, showing no signs of psychosis, were there any grounds for you or any reason for you to seek a Section 12?
No.
Your next appointment with her was January 23rd, 2023. Is that correct?
Yes.
And again, all
Now,
of these
damn
appointments
it.
were virtual appointments, correct?
Yes.
During this appointment, what was her mood and affect?
Mood was depressed, affect was depressed and flat.
Did she tell you she had started the amitriptyline?
She did.
And did she tell you if there were any side effects to that?
It didn't appear that there were side effects.
What was the conversation or interaction with her that day on the 23rd?
So she said she was doing all right, a little more anxious, and the anxiety was described as the feeling of her heart racing. She had a decreased appetite as well. She was on only 2 milligrams of Valium at this point and feeling more anxious in the morning. Mood was the same, flat, anxious, no motivation, numb. She has to force herself to get out of bed and out of the house, but is able to do that. And she is sleeping okay.
And did you ask her if she had suicidal ideation or homicidal ideation on the 23rd?
Yes, I did.
What was her response?
No.
And did you notice any symptoms or signs of psychosis that day?
No.
Was there any difference in her rate of speech or speech pattern?
No.
Was there any difference in her ability to think or communicate in any way?
No.
Was there any change in her your evaluation of her judgment or insight?
No.
Did you still consider her insight poor at that point?
I did.
And why were you still considering her insight poor?
So I think there were just a couple of things that came up throughout our 14 visits that suggested that to me, like I explained earlier. But later on, it was
Actually, 14.
It had to do with her over attribution. It seemed to the medications about certain symptoms that she was feeling, meaning like how she felt about the Seroquel, how she felt that was making her depressed, when in reality, I think she was just depressed. So it was related to her thoughts about medications and how she was feeling.
So would it be accurate to state that instead of accepting that she was depressed, she was placing the blame on the medication?
Objection.
Sustained.
In your mental status exam of her on the 23rd, how was her appearance?
She was appropriately dressed.
How was your rapport with her?
It was appropriate.
How was her speech?
It was appropriate.
How was her thought content and process?
Appropriate.
How was her cognitive abilities?
There were no deficits.
And her psychomotor activity?
Normal.
What was the plan going forward on that day?
So we were going to continue the same dose of the diazepam because she was feeling a bit more of the anxiety. So we said to slow down the taper, and we increased the amitriptyline to 20 milligrams, thinking that would also help with the sleep.
And at any point in time, did she tell you she was planning to kill herself?
No.
At any point in time on the 23rd, did she say she was planning to kill her children?
No, absolutely not.
At any point in time during your interaction with her in that session, was there anything about her affect or demeanor, her behavior, that indicated to you that she was a danger to herself or others?
No.
Was there any reason, based on your evaluation of her in that session, that would give you grounds to file a Section 12 on her that day?
No.
Throughout your time treating Ms. Clancy, did you continue to recommend that she attend individual therapy?
Yes.
And why is that?
It's very important.
And is there a reason it's important, or like what are the benefits?
Yeah, it has many studies have been done to show the efficacy of therapy as a component of treatment for depression and anxiety. So, some people may only do medicine, some people may only do therapy, but the best response is a combination.
Thank you, doctor. I have nothing further.
All right. Counsel Tracy, everybody sidebar.
He said, don't even get up. Now, I saw somebody say, are we in January? This was literally the day before she did it. This last appointment was literally the day before she did it.
Thank you. All right, so members of the jury, I'm gonna break at this point. I'm gonna excuse you till Monday morning, 9 o'clock. The schedule, I'm gonna suggest would be similar to today. It should be pretty much a full day. We are still, if not on schedule, ahead of schedule. All right, so I just kind of want to let you know that. So now you're gonna have the weekend, and so I just kind of want to reiterate those instructions I've been giving you.
Monday
every
is
day.
going to be
So
crazy.
you know the
as
questions I'm going to
usual.
ask you on Monday, right? And so I'm going to instruct you and remind you, don't talk about this case with anyone. Don't do any research on this case. Don't take any field trips and happen to drive by any place that you have questions about. It's also very important that you don't read anything about this case or similar cases that might come up. All right. And don't listen to anything. Don't watch anything. You've gotten a fair amount of evidence so far. We've been here for a couple of weeks. But you don't have all the evidence. All right. And so it's important for you to keep an open mind. And the best way to do that is basically shut your mind off until Monday. All right. I know it's been a long couple of weeks for you. So I hope you have a nice weekend. Get rested. We'll see you, everybody, on Monday. And again, thank you so much for all your time and your work on this. And I really do hope you have a nice weekend. We'll see you Monday. Okay?
Court, all rise. Good. I need to close the door, please. Wait on the chairs. This way, please.
Hold on, Linda Sternbridge.
Court, this court's in session.
All right. And Counsel, if I could ask you to come one more time, basically just
Paralyzed
talk
from the
about
waist down.
kind of the schedule for
Jerica.
Monday.
She injured herself. She literally severed her spine after she threw herself out the window. So she unalived her children, each of them with an exercise band across around their throats. Then she went up to her in her basement. Then she went up to her bedroom, injured both of her wrists and her neck, and then threw herself out of a window. And she was paralyzed. Keisha, that basement takes me out every time, because who was we hiding from if you already sent Patrick out the house? All right, Miss Montresa. She's not free to go home. She's not at home. It's called the Duxbury State Hospital. It was a message to Patrick. Yeah. It's always something about a man and his oldest son, and I felt like it was really, 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 really personal to put Dawson in his workspace. Dawson was the only one found in his workspace. Remember, he came downstairs and immediately discovered Cora and the baby, which Cora was his oldest child, but it just really does not, I'm not lost on the fact that was his oldest son. Could be something, could be nothing. I don't know. And what are they doing? Going over scheduling for Monday? I might have to rearrange some things for Monday morning because I think I teach that class on Monday. I think Dawson's what really did it. What you mean by that? Like he was acting out? He had one that like she flipped after he had a moment? Why am I sitting here waiting for this? Y'all, why y'all let me do this? Now I'm acting like I don't have no good damn sense. Okay, so they just went off. Now, what the heck is this? Oh, so they must have just cut the stream because it's no longer live. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that is it for today. I will let you guys know what we're going to do about Monday because I think I teach that class on Monday, guys. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch it with you, but I'll definitely recap it. Let me see. I'll have to check on a few things. Or if I do watch in the morning, I won't be able to watch in the afternoon. We'll see. We'll see. I'll probably plan for the morning and just not do lunch. Move the class. I can only move it to the afternoon at this point, but I kind of got to see Reddington. That's bad. That's bad. I'm gonna work on it. See, let me go ahead and work on that now. All right, everybody, enjoy their weekend. Do something fun, memorable. Protect your peace. Don't think about this. Just mute us. I might have to do that too, but then I won't be able to hear nothing. I'm still going to go back and watch it. Well, I want to be able to watch it. If I'm doing the class, I'm actually going to be facilitating. So, but they're not doing the certification. This is just an actual intro class. So I'll work on it, but I might have to mute y'all in the afternoon. Somehow y'all going to get muted. All right, y'all. I will recap this before the weekend is up. And I will hopefully see y'all Monday.